To this day, no Christian has invited my mom into her home, except for my friends, but that doesn't count. No one in her community has ever reached out and invited her. They see the burka and all of a sudden they get afraid. And so my mom has not had the opportunity to see what real Christian life is like. Instead, what she's told is that America is a Christian nation. Then she looks at the TV and sees all the crazy stuff happening on Hollywood and all the stuff happening in celebrities' lives, and she hears what's happening in the news and the murders and the rapes and all this and that, and she says, this is a Christian nation. This is what Christianity is all about. You know, if people would just reach out, perhaps we'd be able to take care of that, but we don't, unfortunately. So in the midst of me challenging him and asking him questions, which, by the way, if you've encountered Muslims in the West, they tend to be very, very informed on how to challenge Christians in their faith. So I was not an anomaly. When I was challenging him in his faith, 9/11 happened. And then he started asking me questions. He said, Nabil, how can you say Islam's a religion of peace? And I'd give him the spiel. And then he'd say, yeah, Nabil, I get that. I get what you're saying, but what about those verses in the Quran that those terrorists are reciting? What about those teachings of Muhammad's life that they're referring to? And I would do whatever I could. I would read defenses that my teachers and my imams gave me, and I would ask the scholars around me, how do I respond to his questions? And I'd give him the responses. But as he was asking these questions, now I was also internally beginning to wonder as well, is what I have been taught, is what I have been received true? Or is there more to this story? And we're seeing the towers come down, we're feeling just as vulnerable as everybody else, but then people turn their eyes towards Muslims. And they're thinking, who are you? Can we trust you? What's your agenda here? And in the midst of that time, people are questioning us, and literally questioning us, like, what does your religion teach? And I had been taught my whole childhood that Islam is a religion of peace. And that was the slogan that we had used, and that's what we actually truly believed. But in that time, you know, the thing about, I was a freshman in college at that time, the thing about being in college is that, the way it should be anyway, is that people can push you and challenge you and test you. And so people are beginning to ask questions. Nabil, if Islam is a religion of peace, how do you explain what they're doing on the TV screens? How do you explain that they're killing people in the name of Allah? And these were questions that were very, very important to me. But for me, growing up, you have to understand, Islam was peaceful. And I was an American and a Muslim. Those two were not exclusive of one another.